Hey everyone! As I'm sure you can tell, I love Omega Strike. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm sure that's never going to change, but the game isn't exactly in its prime anymore. Omega Strikers isn't receiving regular updates because Odyssey Interactive has pivoted into working on new projects. We didn't know what these projects were until now. A few days ago, Odyssey Interactive announced Byte Breakers, a possible new game that they're running a playtest for this weekend. Quote, "We are making a 40-player platform fighter battle royale, but we might not actually ship it. We're playtesting in public to find out whether we should. This isn't rhetoric, we're serious. If you love it, we double down. If not, we icebox it." NA playtest starts Friday on Steam. This is huge news that presents two possible futures. Number one, the playtest is a success. The game goes into full development mode and we get to see the newest chapter of Odyssey Interactive's game development journey in the form of a battle royale platform fighter hybrid that I couldn't be more excited about. Number two, the player test is a failure. Odyssey shutters production on Byte Breakers and moves on to another idea. I cannot express how much I want this playtest to be a success. I want it to launch Byte Breakers into full development mode. I've decided to do my best to educate any prospective players so that you can feel informed and ready to actually play. I want to do this because Byte Breakers doesn't really have a tutorial yet. However, its practice room is full of important information that anyone can access. Fortunately, I had a few hours in the playtesting phases to begin understanding Byte Breakers after reading and rereading their wiki to scour for information before playing it. Now, with a few more hours under my belt and a little bit more understanding, I can relay that information to you. So, what is Byte Breakers? As they mentioned, this game is a hybrid mashup of a battle royale and a platform fighter. In a short summary, I'd say it takes the gameplay flow of a battle royale, like how you find gear, there are drop points at the beginning, and there's a slowly shrinking playable area that drives players together to make them fight until the last team is standing. Most battle royales, though, are gun games, with the only one I can think of otherwise being Rumbleverse, a game that I unfortunately never got to play myself and only got to experience vicariously through Jaakko Siemens' fantastic video on it. Byte Breakers is different still, with it being a platform fighter at its core. It draws inspiration from the Super Smash Bros. Series, and there are some serious similarities between both the characters and the games. This playtest is duos only in Battle Royale, but I've heard that singles, duos, and trios will all be implemented if the game gets a full release. I recommend playing Byte Breakers with a friend because there's no chat of any kind in the playtest. The first thing I'm going to talk about is controls. I'm not going to really talk about details here, but I do want to say that Byte Breakers has controller support. I've been a platform fighter player for my whole life, and I'm confident that I spent over 1,000 hours playing Smash Bros, so I am completely used to using a controller. However, when I was writing the script, I was at a local cafe with just my laptop because the power was out at my house. Odyssey announced a surprise playtest while I was there. I didn't really have a choice and still wanted to get some more experience for this video, so keyboard controls it was. I was pretty terrible, but I will say that keyboard is a fine way to play this game. It feels really responsive, and honestly, if I wasn't so attached to a controller, I might try it more myself. Fun fact, the first game I played on keyboard, I won. Yes, I died 4 times, but the best player in the beta test was my teammate, and 2v1 the whole game. Audie Teej managed to drag my bloody corpse to victory. I'll never forget you. Unfortunately, I don't have footage because I couldn't record on my laptop, so you're just gonna have to trust me. We're gonna start with the movesets. If you already know platform fighters, I'll put something on screen for you to skip to because you don't need to know this information. Every character has a set of normal moves. These consist of a jab, 3 different tilts, 1 up, 1 forward, 1 down, along with 3 different heavy attacks, 1 up, 1 forward, 1 down. They also each have a dash attack and the ability to grab an opponent and throw them in the cardinal direction of their choosing. Every character has a jump to get off the ground, then 1 more jump they can perform in the air. Each character has 5 different aerial normals they can perform, with this being neutral air, up air, down air, forward air, and back air. To block any of these moves, you can press the shield button to play it safe, but shields don't work against grabs. Grabbing an opponent out of their shield is a good way to get past their defenses. You should also note that shields do not work in the air. If you press the shield button in midair, you will instead perform an air dodge and become briefly invincible. If you hold a direction while doing this, you'll perform a directional air dodge and send your character in the direction that you held. It's important to note that a non-directional air dodge conserves your momentum. If you air dodge, your character will become helpless until they reach the ground. You cannot perform any action in the helpless state. On the ground, if you press the shield button and hold left or right, you'll dodge to whatever side you're holding. If you hold down, you'll instead perform a spot dodge and become invincible without moving. If your shield takes too much damage or is held too long, it will break and stun your character for quite a while. Do not let this happen. You'll die, or at least take a lot of damage. Every character also has 4 different specials: neutral special, side special, up special, and down special. These are different for every single character and usually have some pretty unique effects, so it's important to try them out and learn what every character's options are. The only real standard I can give you for specials is that the up special of every character helps them move upward in one way or another. This is all pretty standard for a platform fighter. However, Byte Breakers draws on some more traditional fighting games for its energy system. Every player has 4 bars of energy. These bars fill up when hitting attacks on opponents. By holding the energy button and performing a special at the same time, you can power up your special for that one time only. This will consume 1 bar of energy and use the special version of the attack instead of the normal one. This can make it larger, make it faster, turn it into a combo. It could be anything, but it'll hit harder for sure. At the beginning of every match, you will only start with 1 bar of energy, but each new slot of gear you grab will raise that cap by 1, with 4 being the max. You can also use Burst to cancel all knockback or hit stun that you have, or use Team Assist, allowing you to jump to your teammate and unleash a strong attack. Both of these actions consume 2 bars of energy. Every fighter's Team Assist is different, so you're gonna have to try them out or look on the wiki to understand each for yourself.
I mentioned gear, and I'll get to it, I swear, but I can't put off talking about health any longer.
In most platform fighters, players start at 0%. As they get hit, their percent climbs higher and higher, and they take more and more knockback until they're finally hit into a blast zone and lose their stock.
In Byte Breakers, the formula is similar, but different.
Everyone starts with 100 health. As you take hits, your health drains. Once you eventually hit 0, you become cracked. When you're cracked, you take significantly more knockback than usual, and if you're knocked into any surface, any at all, be it a wall, a ceiling, or even the ground, you're glitched out. If you glitch an opponent out, you will instantly regain 50 health. This can turn the tables in a fight, so it's important to keep in mind. There are also glitch zones that will instantly glitch out anyone knocked inside of them when they are cracked. As the game goes on, a gigantic glitch zone will engulf more and more of Aten City, driving players together into the safe area. Even if you aren't knocked inside of a glitch zone, you can't stay in one for very long. Glitch zones will quickly drain your health, and if it ever reaches 0, that's it for you. The health drain gets faster as the game goes on. When you're glitched out, you leave behind a memory core. Aren't they cute? If your teammate is still alive and kicking, they can swing by and grab you to take you to a terminal in order to revive you. This is a valid strategy and very kind, but it's not always feasible. Sometimes your teammate won't have much choice but to run for their life after you lose a fight. If you die and leave behind your core, an enemy might shatter it. If this happens, the memory core will drop your entire inventory. If you're revived after your memory core is shattered, you'll revive with no equipment.
And generally, that covers the characters. But that's not all there is to Byte Breakers.
Across the whole map, you'll find tons of destructible objects. These can be chests or cars or even walls. Anything with a health bar can be attacked, and inside of some of these objects, the cars and the chests really, you'll find items and gear. Items are consumable objects that can be thrown, placed, or eaten. Each of their effects should be listed on screen now. I want to specifically mention vault keys because they are useless until you take them to a vault, which are these little locks on the map where you'll find plenty of high-tier items and gear. Gear is important. Every character has 3 slots in their inventory. one for gloves, one for chest wear, and one for boots. It's always better to have some gear than no gear, because just having it at all will unlock energy slots for you to use. Gear can do anything from giving you extra air jumps to making your jabs shoot out fireballs. Each piece of gear also has a rarity tier. For example, the dash boots give me 12% run speed at rare quality, 18.5% at epic quality, and 25% at legendary. There is no way to upgrade your gear except to swap it out with new higher quality gear whenever you find it. Every piece of gear has a regular effect, but if you find enough Omega energy, these little glowy coin looking things, you can go to a shop and overcharge one of your gear slots. After you do so, any gear you place in that slot will be overcharged. This can be game changing. For example, the jab fireball goes from this to this. If you overcharge the dash boots, you can run up walls,
which is super useful getting away from the glitch zone, or chasing other fighters on foot, or escaping from other fighters on foot. Overcharging your gear can be the difference between winning and losing a game.
You can only overcharge gear at specific stations though, so be on the lookout. These stations are marked on your map.
They look like this on the map.
Around the map, you'll also find vending machines that require 100 gold per item. Buy carefully. This is how you get a lot of healing items throughout the game, which can be extremely useful. In order to overcharge your gear, you need to spend 5 Omega energy, and this resource is shared in your team, so use it carefully. Similar to gear are hacks. They're a lot like gear, but instead far more powerful. They have their own slot, so you don't need to give up any gear in order to equip them. For example, if you have the Core Strike glove hack, your heavy attacks gain super armor and you deal bonus damage in an area around you. There are only 2 hacks per game, and every player can only have one equipped, but there's also a major drawback to them. If you have a hack equipped, you're visible on the map to every other player in the game. You can run, but you can't hide. It doesn't only just tell you where they are, it also tells you their current health. So if you're waiting, if you're watching, you can zoom in at the last second to get a kill to deny the other people who would have healed off of getting that kill and then take the fight from there. There are only 4 total hacks in the game at this point. Here they are on screen.
The last thing I want to talk about is traversal. There are countless ways to get across a map as huge as Aten City, from just walking to trying to speedrun your way across the arena.
Cannons will launch you to a specific place shown by the dotted line on the map every single time. Once you've been launched, there's nothing you can do to stop yourself. You can grind on rails to quickly traverse great distances, as well as hop off of them whenever you like. This makes rails really good for escaping a fight and losing a tail. Rails are elusive and rails are quick. There are also teleporters around the map that'll take you very far, but be careful because a lot of them are one-way trips. There are also data streams which act a lot like pipes from Mario. With nearly every interactable movement option, the further you're traveling, the longer you'll need to channel uninterrupted in order to activate it. This makes escaping on basically anything but a rail super hard. The final sort of interactable object I want to mention is the scanners. If you interact with them, your camera will zoom out and it'll let you see people in the surrounding area. They're really great for finding someone to fight. They're personally my favorite interactable object, which is crazy because the rail grinding feels awesome. Though they aren't interactable objects, there are also shadow areas where people cannot see you when you're inside them. I'm unaware if these hide people with hacks, but I doubt it. They're mostly useful for ambushes, though you can try and hide in them. If someone has good awareness and knows what those shadow rooms are in the first place, they're probably going to check them if they're looking for you.
And that's kinda it. I've done my best to prepare you with the information that you need, except for the characters. I only had 48 hours to make this, so if you want me to make a follow-up where I dive into the characters and their specifics, I will. For now, though, I'm just gonna say play whoever looks fun. I've tried every character except Luna, and they're all serviceable. If you want someone easy, try Asher or Atlas. I like Juliet. She's fast and aggressive. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you want more Byte Breakers content, because it is definitely going to come. If this video helped you out at all, then help me out. Leave a like. Thanks so much. Everybody say bye, Ogre Pawn. Bye, Ogre Pawn.